Hello and welcome to the CDO magazine interview series. My name is Eleanor Treharne-Jones and I'm the CEO of Kensu, and I'm delighted to be speaking today with Sreeram Potukuchi, the Director of Enterprise Data at Republic Services. Thank you, Sreeram.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to kick things off, we're going to focus a little bit on the CDO role. So how do you define the role of a Chief Data Officer?
So, in my view, Chief Data Officer is responsible for data strategy, policy, procedures, and protecting core data assets of an organization.
Tell us a little bit about, how, your role and how that relates and the kind of remit that you have. And also what I know people are always interested to hear, what was your path to that? So did you come from more of a technical background or did you come from more of the business side?
Yeah, I have had a very technical background, starting as a database developer, growing up through the ranks. I've done business intelligence development, ETL development, data architecture, and business analyst, QA analyst, you name it. I have grown up through the ranks, and I think at this point in my career, the focus is more at the strategy level in driving data platform maturity and data management, and also enterprise analytics, driving business outcomes through enterprise analytical solutions. That's been my core focus. And over time, my role has shifted from being more technical architecture oriented to more business facing oriented, where I continue to work on aligning data strategy with overall business focus and business strategy, and driving and measuring outcomes for the outcomes that we are able to deliver to the business.
And talking to your peers and observing what's happening in the broader industry, do you feel that shift is one that's taking place in the CDO role as a whole? Or so, is your experience replicated across other businesses from what you observe?
Yeah, that's a great question. The shift I see talking to my peers in various industries is that the shift is more, the CDO now is more of a business leader, right? Business leader first, and because at the end of the day, all the data initiatives are intended to drive business outcomes and create value. And the CDO role, as of now, is more business facing, interacting with various executives in the organization, driving value, and creating a much more pragmatic strategy that can achieve some of those business outcomes.
Another development that we've seen is the evolution of the Chief Data Officer into the Chief Data and Analytics Officer. And I don't know if, you see, you've talked obviously about the kind of core data strategy that you're driving, whether do you see that as a natural evolution that overall analytics will become a core part, a kind of called out part of the Chief Data Officer role? Is it currently part of your role?
Yes, I think so. I think the whole, traditionally, if you think about CDO and the COO role, the goal of the CAO role was to answer the question of value, right? And drive value and drive analytics and consumption across the organization, consumption of of analytics across the organization. And traditionally, the CDO is responsible for data strategy and policy and management of information. And those two roles are so intertwined together that what we see is that those roles are being combined into one, and that's been the sort of the trend. And with more emphasis to business focus and more emphasis towards driving value, aligning data strategy with business strategy, and also being a change agent across the organization and driving data culture and data literacy and across the organization, so that the data strategy and the solutions are able to deliver, whether it's dashboards or data. But on the consumption side, the literacy needs to be also at the right level to harness those solutions and make decisions.
Are there any examples of driving? I mean, it's always a big challenge, creating a culture of good data management and data literacy. How have you started to drive some of those initiatives?
So it's a work in progress for everyone, right? That's
why I know, and that's why I know I have to ask the question, because I know.
Yeah, it's a work in progress for everyone. Some of the things that we're able to do, and I was able to do through my various roles, is define what it means, right? What is data literacy, right? And combined with some level of self-service, right? And again, defining what self-service means, right? There are multiple flavors of self-service analytics, if you will, and the traditional training and education goes without saying, but also enabling self-service and working in co-creating, right, solutions. In traditional sense, it's always been the data team builds things, and then the consumers, who are the functional areas, consume information. And one of the things that and again, like I said, it's work in progress, but one of the things that we're able to do is co-create these data solutions with functional partners and defining what self-service means for each area, right? And there are multiple flavors of self-service, from building a data platform that they can leverage, build their own reports, their own analytics, if you will, to giving them tools, to building abstract data layers that they can self-service, right? So what that did is that, one, it's co-creation, so it just accelerated the pace at which we were developing these data solutions, and also put more on the functional areas to up the skills and also understand what it takes to build all these things. So as a result of this co-creation model, we were able to, the byproduct was data literacy, because now they're partners in this. It's not data team building everything for everyone in the organization. It's co-creation model where even the data engineers in some cases are embedded in the functional areas.
That's fascinating. And was that a conscious, it sounds like it's an initiative that's had a lot of byproducts and very positive kind of outcomes. Was it a conscious initiative, a shift, a change to move to that co-creation model, or was it more of an evolution where you saw the success and then kind of built and expanded it?
It's very intentional. It was very intentional, and like I said previously, one team, sequential, everyone was fighting for priorities, the standard prioritization. But what we realized was that for us to accelerate not just the build of data solutions, but also deliver value to the business, that we had to co-create, right? Where there are partnerships based on the need and the type of need for information and decisions, right? And we are able to develop these self-service models with, again, we start with what does it mean, right? So what does self-service mean, right? Where we're able to not only enable self-service for functional areas, but we're also encouraging them to build the data platform with us in coordination and partnership with us. And that was very intentional. And again, to your other question on evolution, once we're able to show success with one area, then automatically the next other area said, hey, we would love to do some data science on the platform. Then the first question is, define what data science means to you. What are your objectives, right? What are some of the questions you would ask through any mechanism? You would ask this data platform, if we magically put something together, what are the type of questions you would ask? And that was sort of the guiding force. We're not, when we start, we're not as specific as give me the exact questions, right? It's more about what are the type of questions you might ask. And we use that as a guiding force to figure out what type of self-service do we need for something like this.
And just to kind of wrap up this focus on leadership, you've talked about, so much of what you've just talked about in driving strategy is around, change management, kind of cross-functional working in order to be successful as a kind of data team leader. I'm sure many people on CDO magazine perhaps aren't CDOs yet, but are looking to build a career path towards that role. Where do you think the CDOs of the future are going to come from? What's the skill set? Will it be a technical background like yours, or do you see chief data officers in the future coming perhaps from a broader cross-section of the business?
Yeah, I would think that a successful CDO of the future is a business leader, and CDO, CDO is a business leader, and with a good understanding of not the technical, as much technical details, but a good understanding of data strategy, right? Just to understand what it takes to build the vision, right? So a good blend of I would say, good understanding of data strategy, but a far better understanding of what creates business value through data initiatives.
Sreeram, thank you. It's been absolutely fascinating to kind of talk with you today, and I really appreciate the insights that you've shared, and I know the audience watching will do as well. So thank you very much. I'd love to continue the conversation. It's been a great pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Please do visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews from CDO Magazine. Thank you.
Thank you so much.